Welcome to Dunsmore Moving Dirt. Glad y'all was able to join us today. I just got pulled in on a job. This is the next job. I'm trying to stay out of the wind because the winds are blowing 100 miles an hour. So, this little house here is fixing to come down, and there's some barns back over there. We'll walk over there and show you right quick. This house, the back end of it caught on fire here not too long ago, so landowner decided to bury it. He may build him one up here in the front back for someone that works for him, have a little rent house so they can live in it. This thing's been here a long time. I can remember 40 years ago it was here. It did have someone living in it. Then they moved off, and the landowner was going to come in here, kind of do some work on the house and get it ready for somebody else. Never got around to it before it burnt down. But there's the two little old barns. Going to tear them down and try to dig a hole here somewhere. We're going to try to save this pecan tree, and here's a pecan tree. All them little bushes, it don't hurt if they go or not. And that big elm tree there, he doesn't care if it stays or goes, but I'd like to try to keep it. And pretty nice shade tree. So of course I'm just surrounded by a fence here, so I've got to watch kind of where I put everything and try to get a hole and bury it. And the house had a back end on it here, and this had a no cistern, and of course it was inside and had the downspouts on the barn. They was plumb to go under the ground and dump into the cistern. And I think the house had drainage that come into the cistern, but it was all under the shed and inside the house, so they didn't have to go outside to get water. But he said we could leave that if we wanted to. There's a pipe that was pumping, then they pump it up to the house, use it in the house. It's got a little nasty stuff down in there, but anyway, of course the house there ain't nothing to save out of it. It's all burned up, but got to tear it down and kind of get it piled up where I know how big to dig the pit, get it all broke up and everything. And he did showed me something to watch, and I'm glad he did, because it's something you don't want to run into if you don't know it's there. This house has a little cellar underneath it right here. Of course it was hand dug. Well, you can't see, I ain't got no lights show down in there, but there's a cellar under the house, and it's probably 10 by 10, maybe 10 by 12. And I'm glad he did show me that, because if I'd have been shoving this house over and trash in front of me and stuff and couldn't see it, and I'd have fell off in that cellar, that would have been bad news. So that was a hidden danger that he showed me about, and I'm glad he did. So anyway, that's what I just dropped the dozer off. I'm fixing to go take the truck in and come back with my pickup and get started here in another hour or so. So we'll set up and let you see this. I hate that his house burned down. I mean, it was a pretty good house. Like I say, it's been here a long time, and I've done some other work out here. Matter of fact, all this around the barn and stuff used to be a field, and I used to farm it years and years ago. Before, we used to farm quite a bit up here on this road. All that over there used to be a field. Used to plow it, and back there in the back, but someone else bought the farm and took that over. So I've buried a bunch of them old barns. There was probably 3 or 4 more barns at least out there that was just getting so bad there wasn't salvageable. So dug a hole and buried them, caved them in. But what you do, you hit sand rock down here about 6 foot or so you can't dig very deep. I mean, I'm surprised they got that cellar in the ground, but back then they take picks and axes and bust that stuff up and dig it by hand. So anyway, they did things the hard way back then. That's all they had. So anyway, I don't know how deep a pit I can get. I like to get my pit cab deep when I'm burying something, but I may not be able to. I may have to dig several shallow pits to get them wide enough. But that thing will break up pretty good. There won't be a bunch of big pieces. It's got a tin roof. Usually that wood is so old, when you run over it, it just turns into toothpicks. So anyway, we'll let y'all see some of that as we get underway here in a little bit. And thanks for watching again. Bye. To do this, but that tree is in the way. Let's just ease into it and see what it feels like. That's what I thought. Feels pretty solid. I guess that tin is the original roof. There's some old wooden shingles under there, so I guess it had wooden shingles, then they put tin on it. Cellar, I was running right over the top of it. Wow. Kind of lost my bearings inside. I thought it was closer to the middle. There's the cellar. Got a little daylight in it now, you can see it. Had a freezer in the bottom of it. I don't know how they got it down there. Okay. Now that I see it, I run right over the top of it a while ago and didn't see it till I backed up. Okay. I know where it's at now. Can't get that out of there. Maybe I can get it squished down on the bottom, but they got that freezer set up on about a 1.5 foot platform, and you can see there was still water, unless that's how deep the water was before they raised it up. It's hard to keep water out of a cellar around here, but that's it. I'm glad I didn't fall in that rascal. got it all down and in a pile. I guess I'll start digging a hole in the morning and start pushing it off in there. They poured that concrete thick back in those days, and that stuff's pretty thick. I think what I'm going to do is dig my first pit right beside this cellar. Then I can maybe push the cellar either in or push the wall into the pit. Then I can fill the pit on both sides. It's going to take probably 3 pits. And maybe I can put that concrete in that cellar there. I don't know. I start pushing stuff and seeing how it works out. But it's quite a bit of concrete right there. Then there'll be concrete in here, which I could cave this in and it would collapse itself and then cover it up with dirt. I just want to be sure it's below the ground, because I can't cover it up if it's not. So anyway, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So start digging some holes. So we'll let y'all see some of that. I'm going to get all this straightened up. There's the old cistern. I'll have to remember where that is. I'll probably dig a pit beside it and just cave it off in there. It's usually what you do, and then fill it up with dirt. But them barns, I don't know where to dig the pit for them. I don't want to dig anything next to these pecan trees. They're about the only things he wanted to save that I was able to save. So I can start a pit on the other side of them, and I'm kind of crowded. That won't be much. That's mostly wood, and unless it's got a concrete floor. I hadn't looked at that. Sure enough, it's got a concrete. I guess this was the garage. Had carpet. It was fancy. Okay, this will have concrete in it, so it'll take a little bit more to fix up. So anyway, we'll let you see some of that tomorrow when we get it going. And thanks again for watching this channel. And if you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and hit the like button and share it with all your friends. So till tomorrow we start digging holes, remember, keep your blade shiny and your tracks clean. Bye.